If you've ever frequented an Asian restaurant, you've probably had miso soup. Who doesn't love the salty, savory, flavorful broth that just warms your soul? But did you know miso soup is good for you? It's full of probiotics. Someone who knows all about that is Toby Gilbert of Gilbert's Provisions in Berlin. And you know, Toby, I have to say, I didn't realize there was so much to the miso soup.
Yeah, it's not just miso paste and water. It actually is, it starts with this.
It looks like sandpaper, I'm not gonna lie.
So this is kelp, sea kelp, kind of like what they get in California. They actually drag this on the beach and dry it out. So what you see on the outside is a mix of sea salt and actual natural MSG. This is used in a lot of different stuff. I like to put it in chicken stock, any kind of stock. It just adds like some umami to everything. And that's kind of like the name of the game with miso is umami.
Umami?
Umami.
Which is, define umami real quick for us.
So it's kind of the newest kind of flavor.
Right.
So it's savory. So anything from seaweed, mushrooms, the flavor you get out of like soy sauce,
right?
That kind of stuff. That's umami.
Gotcha.
Umami. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how do we get started then?
So usually you actually wipe a little of this down because you can get some dust on the seaweed itself as it dries. And then you just put it in water and let it steep for about 20 minutes. And it changes a lot. It kind of turns it puffs up.
Back into seaweed.
Yeah, exactly. It rehydrates. So you let that sit for about 20 minutes. It's been in there probably for about there now. And you want the heat to kind of crank up a little bit. And basically just bring it to a mild boil. You just want to see some bubbles. You don't want to boil it necessarily.
Just kind of simmer. Oh, you give me a spoon.
Yeah, so if you guys want to try that now, that is just the simple, just kelp and the water.
So this is like beforehand, before we actually get started.
Yeah, but it already has a lot of umami and really good kind of oceanic flavor, but without it being seasoned with salt or anything.
Ooh, umami.
Yeah, exactly.
It does have a nice flavor.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So the next thing we add, this isn't necessarily traditional. These are dry shiitakes. I like it because it adds more flavor. It gets more depth, and almost like a little spice to it.
Okay.
So if you want to add those in.
Just throw them in?
Yep.
All right.
Make sure they're submerged. Yeah. So this is the next.
That looks like
fish flakes.
Flakes, yeah.
Yeah, so this is called katsuobushi, or katsu. It's actually made from bonita, which is kind of like an oily tuna.
Okay.
That's cured with salt and this rice, actually, that I'll talk about with miso, it's inoculated with a mold that has a lot of enzymes. So the fish breaks down and is smoked and inoculated with this mold. Sounds bad, but it's not. And then once it's dried, it's shaved in a special machine and kind of
Come out with fish flakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fish flakes. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a really smoked, again.
All of it?
All of it.
There's like more science to this than I ever.
I know.
I'm trying not to get too sciencey.
Well,
but you know this. That's what astonishes me.
It's,
I mean, not that you know that. I mean, it just astonishes me that you share that with us.
Yeah. So that'll go in and steep. Traditionally, you actually take the kelp out, but for time purposes, you know, we're just going to kind of let it roll.
okay.
So that will steep for about 20 minutes. Once it's in there, you kind of want to turn the heat off and let it kind of just ride for a little while. It's kind of like a tea.
Okay.
So that's the base. It's called dashi. Dashi just means stock in Japanese. Next up is miso. So this is sweet miso paste. It's the most commonly found. You can find it. There's actually a really great Japanese outlet here in Salisbury, just past the mall. So this is made by soybeans, and this is called koji rice. These are chickpeas because it didn't have soybeans.
Okay.
So basically, that rice is inoculated with a mold, a very certain mold that won't kill you, nothing wrong with it, but has enzymes that break down the carbohydrates into amino acids, or more like MSG. So this will be mixed with a certain amount of salt. Longer age ones need more salt, shorter ones need short. This is a less sodium one, so it's a sweet miso, and packed into fermenters and sat for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Okay. So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Can we move on with what we're doing? We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Yep.
And then when we come back, we'll explain everything that you just explained. Okay, this is what we did, this is where we are, this is where we're going.
We can do that.
We can do that?
Yeah.
Stick around. DelmarvaLife will be right back. Back in the DelmarvaLife kitchen with Toby Gilbert of Gilbert's Provisions in Berlin. So I understand that if you're looking for something just a little bit outside the box, your place is the place to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cheese, charcuterie, pickles, fermented foods.
You've got it there.
I've got it all there.
This is the place.
And
Okay.
of course, things to make miso soup.
Miso soup.
For the most part?
For the most part.
For the most part, okay.
This kind of, all these things you can pretty much find at the grocery store. The kelp and the bonito flake might be the harder, but online or the Japanese outlet here in town,
Sure.
they have everything.
Everything there.
Okay, so we
so we-
kind of sped things up a little
Yeah,
bit.
so we strain the stock. So this is just a straight dashi. You can just freeze this and use it for anything. You know, if you want to put any kind of protein in it, it's a great base for everything.
Okay.
So to make the actual miso soup, we need miso. So
that's
if you
this right
want
here.
to, yeah. So if you're going to add that into there, and I'm doing it this way so we don't get like larger clumps of miso.
Oh, okay. And you can buy miso paste. It's a paste.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, this is a sweet version. You can get deeper ones that are aged more. One's made out of barley. One's made out of rye. There's a lot of different ones. I've made one with black beans, with chickpeas. Made one with mushrooms and chili peppers. Some people would strain this. I don't because I want the miso in there.
Sure.
If you don't cook it too much, it'll retain a lot of health benefits.
Yeah.
So this is traditional. What I like to do, I like to add a little tamari, which is a gluten-free kind of soy sauce.
Okay.
So about a tablespoon of that in there.
A tablespoon.
About a tablespoon.
That's the big one, right?
That's the big one.
Yeah.
A little more.
A little more.
Yep, now you're good.
Okay.
And again, this isn't traditional either, but I like to add a little bit of rice wine vinegar.
Okay.
It kind of lightens it up, kind of brightens.
Right, yeah.
One of
Is
the
this-
things I learned early on was cooking with acid really brightens things up a lot.
Is this a recipe that you can be flexible with? And,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So, we're going to add that to kind of a base that we already had.
Yeah.
And what's in the? Oh, okay, it's the same thing basically.
Yeah, you know, through the magic of TV, this
Right,
broth
right.
came together really fast. And this one was more of, you know, it took longer.
Okay.
Intentionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't spill all over the place.
Yeah, that's okay. Jimmy will clean it up.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, yes, I will.
I definitely did.
Yeah.
So we'll bring this up basically to a boil, and we'll start adding our miso ingredients.
Okay, and that's what we have over here and over there.
Those are the ingredients to actually make the miso itself.
no, okay,
so
that's right.
the miso soup ingredients are here.
Oh, that's Jimmy's job.
It's Jimmy's job.
Oh.
So we have tofu. Traditional, again, is silken tofu. I like firmer tofu. That's just personal preference.
Okay.
So a couple tablespoons of that in there.
Sans liquid?
You can put a little bit of liquid in
bit
there.
in there?
It's important to put your liquid, or keep your tofu in liquid when you store it, otherwise it'll kind of turn colors a little bit.
Okay. So I got tofu there. Add
Yep.
liquid?
No, you're good.
Good. Okay.
We're gonna add seaweed. This is the kelp that actually that made the broth.
Yeah.
It's just really flavorful, so why throw it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So
So
all this?
throw it in the soup.
Yep.
All this? Yeah. All of that is in. I'll try not to drop the bowl.
You can even use the mushrooms that are also steeped in the broth if you
Right.
want. We're not necessarily doing that today.
Okay.
This is nori. You can also, the traditional is wakame, but nori you can find it in grocery stores everywhere. So it's a seaweed, usually used for rice wraps or sushi.
Gotcha.
But it has a little bit of smoky flavor. That's nice.
All right.
Okay.
And if you want chilies, we can do chilies. If you don't want chilies,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Who wouldn't do chilies?
Put that in your individual
yeah,
bowl,
we'll do
Jimmy.
that. We'll do that in the individual.
Because we have to kind
Well, right
of
at a time, we're gonna hurry.
serve it up.
Yeah.
And I'm not missing this.
Yeah, so the seaweed will kind of hydrate real quick. It's actually made by pureed seaweed, put into trays and dried that way. A lot of chefs will put a torch under it and actually toast it up more. So this soup, yeah, it has a lot of good benefits. As long as it's not too high in sodium, it's good for
Right.
blood pressure and all kinds of good stuff, and has a lot of enzymes. So usually, traditionally, scallions, green onions are the garnish. So I usually go fairly heavy with mine, but we don't have to.
You're the artist.
So, and this is, you know, what, a 20-minute broth, and we're, you know, almost ready to eat.
Almost.
So I'll let you kind of dictate your chilies.
All right, I'm not going to put any chili in mine.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Lisa. Come on. I got to do this.
So again, you can use this soup. It doesn't have to be tofu. You can put chicken in it. You can put any kind of meat, as long as, you know, you cook it a little for a while. But it's just a perfect base. Those are fish peppers. They're actually native to our region. They're some of the first peppers to come from West Africa to Delmarva.
Oh, wow.
I grow them in my garden.
Toby Gilbert, Gilbert's Provisions in Berlin. Thank you so much for bringing this into us today. How is it, huh?
Oh, this is good.
Yeah?
So it should be
Especially if
savory.
they're cold.
Yeah, it's good for a cold.
Good for a cold.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. You need some peppers in there.
No, I'm good. I'm
really
good.
need some peppers.
All right. Thanks a lot, Toby.
problem.